Hi everybody, this lesson is going to go over how to outline one of your body paragraphs. I'm going to focus on talking about outlining the symbolism body paragraph, but this could apply to any of the body paragraphs you're writing. Now, I am going to require you to do an outline for just one body paragraph. The other two, you can use this outline if you find it helpful, but I'm not going to make you submit it. All right, let's go ahead and get started, and I'll go through how to fill out this document. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put the essay topic. So say I'm talking about social norms within the story, specifically maybe gender norms within To Kill a Mockingbird. What I'll do is I'll type where it says essay topic, gender norms. Then I'm going to copy and paste my thesis statement that I created on the outline right here onto this document. From there, I then need to start to focus in on this specific paragraph. So my first paragraph is going to be about symbolism and specifically about how one of the symbols I spotted in the story connects with my theme. So if I'm talking about gender norms, maybe I come up with the symbol of Scout's overalls and how characters in the story react to her overalls. So what I would do then in my topic sentence, I would need to address the fact that I'm going to be analyzing the overalls in this body paragraph, and then kind of start to tie that into what I'm discussing as far as gender roles goes as a whole. But the big thing here for your topic sentence is you need to make sure you're telling your reader what you're addressing in the rest of your paragraph. Now, you don't want to write, "Hey reader, I'm addressing Scout's overalls in this paragraph." That's not really good, topic sentence. What I might say, on the other hand, is Scout's overalls can be seen as a symbol of how people perceive gender roles in Macomb County. Again, I just made that up kind of off the top of my head. You can probably think of something better that is obviously more specific to the story. All right, either way, you need to address what symbol you're covering in that topic sentence. Same thing goes when you go to write your character paragraph. The character name, whoever you're going to be exploring and analyzing in that paragraph, needs to be mentioned in the topic sentence. All right, so that's the topic sentence, should be one sentence. I move on to the next component in my paragraph, which is going to be a detail sentence. Now, this sentence is meant to set the scene. So I should already know the quotes I'm planning on using. So I think back in the story, I find examples of where Scout's overalls are mentioned. I have a quote that I've already put into this box, and I think, okay, well, how can I introduce this example? So maybe I'm going to use the example where Aunt Alexandra, kind of blindly not thinking, gives Scouts her overalls to wear. And then what I would do is I would set up that scene, kind of explain what's going on, and then give the quote. Especially if a character says the quote, make sure you state which character says the quote before giving the quote. All right. Make sure you also have a quote lead-in, which is kind of what I was talking about here. You could say like Atticus says, Scout says, this theme can be seen in the lines, and then give the quote itself. You don't just want to quote dump, which is where you just put a quote and it seems very abrupt. You need to gradually lead into that quote. Make sure you are also citing your quotation. So I'll go through an example at the end of this of what your MLA citation should look like, but make sure you're citing your quotes as well. All right. So from there, your quote is going to probably be 1 to 4 sentences. If your quote is like extremely long, first look to see if there's anything you can eliminate and cut out. If there's just like extra and you're like, this will make my paragraph longer, that's cool. I would say just focus in, you're not going to trick your teacher, just focus in on what is most important in that quote. You could also use what's called an ellipses, so that's the ... if you need to eliminate a part of the quote because it's not necessary for what you're trying to discuss and analyze. All right, now this part's very important. Right after you give a quote, you need to explain what that quote reveals. So what insight does this give us into the theme? And what is, whatever your symbol you're exploring, what is it symbolic of? What is it showing us? Especially, what is it showing us in regards to the theme? You don't just want to list the quotes. You need to analyze and explain the quotes. And you don't just want to tell us that the quote shows us something. So it's a pretty bad explanation to just say, this quote reveals the symbol of the overalls. Okay, well, what does it tell us? What does it show us? So this needs to be where you actually analyze the quote and explain what it reveals to us, how it helps us better understand either the story or the theme. All right, and then you're going to come up with another detailed sentence that leads into your second quote. So basically, you're going to walk through the process we just went through at least twice, if not 3 times, if you're utilizing 3 examples. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll down. So quote 2 lead in. If you scroll down, there's not a third, like a quote 3 lead in, but if you have 3 quotes, you can just add boxes if you need to. If you have questions with that or need me to send you a different template, please just ask. And then your concluding sentence. So in this sentence, what you should be doing is stressing the significance of the symbol and really hammering home what the symbol reveals in terms of the theme. All right, that's how you complete the body paragraph outline. Make sure you're reaching out to your teacher if you have any questions. One last thing before you go, I do want to reiterate how to correctly do an MLA citation. So it really depends on whether or not you're quoting dialogue. So what I want us to look at is first, if the direct quote has dialogue. So if there's a conversation between characters, what you're going to want to do is you're going to have double quotes at the beginning and double quotes at the end. And then anytime a person is talking, you're going to use the single quotation marks. So like for instance here it says, what are you crying for? You have the single quotation marks around that. Ask daddy. And then when somebody else then starts to talk again, you would use the single quotes. All right, and then the important thing here is to make sure you have the author's last name, page number, in parentheses, period at the end. And then if there is no dialogue, all you have to do is put quotation marks around the start of where you're citing and then the finish. So like in this case, it says, for a long, long time, it seemed forever, I lay there crying, sheltering my fallen scarlet ibis from the heresy of the rain. So since nobody's speaking there, I don't have to use the single quotes. There's double quotes around the whole thing. And then in parentheses, I have the author's last name, page number, and then a period at the end. Now, a lot of times people want to put a period right after the quote itself, before the parentheses. That is incorrect. So if you need to pause this, take a picture of it, do whatever you need to. I'll also put some other reminders for MLA citations in your agenda. All right, now for real now, that's all I got for us. I'll see you soon.